Well, this is one really cool kitchen segment that we've been looking forward to for a couple of weeks now because the theme of the day is roux. Do you know what a roux is? I do. I cannot make them. No matter how hard I try. So I was talking with Chef Laura, and she is here to show us some foolproof recipes to not only teach us how to make a really good roux, but to show us the versatility of them.
Yes, so roux is a very basic necessity when making classic sauces for French cuisine. And in honor of Bastille Day tomorrow, I thought we'd throw that in there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So roux, R-O-U-X, whenever you see in a recipe butter and then flour or oil and then flour, you're given a visual clue that there's going to be a roux made.
Okay.
And what it is a thickening agent for a sauce. Okay. It's equal parts by weight of fat and flour. Like I said, it could be oil if you wanted to. Otherwise, we use butter. So what I have in my pan right here is butter that I've melted down. And I'm actually adding some shallot to this because I'm going to season the butter, if you will, infuse it. Because what we're going to make is a mac and cheese. But not just mac and cheese, okay? Because I just can't make mac and cheese.
But this was actually a request from one of our crew members,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is, exactly, who asked to have me make mac and cheese. So I'm going to make one with an orecchiette, which is an ear-shaped pasta.
Okay.
And I'm going to, instead of using a cheddar cheese or something that's orange that we associate with mac and cheese, I'll use some pecorino romano instead.
All right. How is that going to change the flavor of the mac and cheese?
Oh, it's going to make it completely decadent and truffle.
Like a bite to it? Like a sharp?
Yeah, a little extra salt. And also, we're going to add a little truffle oil to it as well. So we're going to get a little earth going.
Okay.
So now what I have in here is the melted butter. So this is the basics for the roux. Now watch carefully because this is the part where you're having
how
problems.
much butter did you put in there? A couple tablespoons?
It's equal parts by weight. Okay.
Right.
So if a recipe says like 2 tablespoons of flour and maybe 1.5 of butter, it's because butter's a little heavier in that regard. Okay. So it's not about measurements. Now I'm going to start sprinkling this in and watch what happens. You're going to see that it's going to start thickening up a little bit.
Now let's talk about the temperature of the skillet because I've gotten to this point before and it starts to burn and cake on the bottom. Is that common?
Yeah, because your temperature is too high. So you want to do this over medium to medium-low heat.
Okay.
And a roux can actually be 3 different colors. It can be white, it can be blonde, and then it can also be deep, dark brown. Okay. And it depends on the color of the sauce that you're making that will determine the color of the roux and how rich you want it. The longer you cook it, the darker it will get. The darker it gets, the richer it will get, the nuttier it will also get.
Okay.
Oh. And a little later on, we're going to be making another roux, this time for the basis for a bechamel sauce for our cauliflower dish. And you'll see a lot more of that because it's going to be a bigger roux, okay?
So you slowly fold in the...
Right, but if you notice, I'm not going to add any more because I know
why?
the shallot kind of gets in the way, but you can see like the little bubbles. It almost looks like the top of a pancake. Okay, that's what you want to look for. So when you get to that thickness, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right, so now the next thing we'll do is we're going to add our milk to this pan. And you can go the other way too if you want to. And I'm going to whisk this in.
You mean by putting in the milk and then adding in the...
Adding the roux right to the pan with the milk in it, right? So depending on what your ratios are to make sure that you get the right thickness, I'm going to raise my heat a little bit. Because the other thing you want to do with the roux is you want to be sure you cook out the flavor of the flour, okay? So it's going to need to cook for, at least, 10 minutes in some regard to thicken. Now, I'm just going to let this do its thing for just a few minutes. I'm going to raise my heat just so I can bring it up to a simmer. Once it's at a simmer, and it's been about 10 minutes, I'm going to add my cheese to this, and this will basically finish the sauce with just a little bit of herbs and seasoning.
Okay, this kind of cheese again, remind us?
That's my pecorino romano. And then I have some minced up oregano and flat leaf parsley, which are right here on the board.
Here.
And then this is my orecchiette right here, a little ear-shaped pasta. So if you pull up one of these, and I picked this because it's going to catch the sauce in the little shape. So when the sauce is on there, it will
hold it. A cheesy bite of goodness is what it's going to be.
And last but not least, even though I already tossed my pasta with a little bit of white truffle oil, I'll add a little bit to the end as well when I season it. Okay, so when we come
we're
back,
going to let that bubble up a little bit. We'll check back on our roux. I love that I've learned that there's 3 different shades of it. I didn't know that. I'm already learning so much. So stick around because we are going to hit the truffled mac and cheese a little bit further in this process. And also we've got some cauliflower dishes coming up as well.